What's up, computer science? I'm back. We're going to do a brief recall and then we're going to get back into reading. So, yesterday we covered language history. We covered, I believe, actually, maybe not language history, programming and programming in Python. So, we talked about scripting languages. We talked about scripts, lines, coding versus programming, or text, not text. Yeah, programming in general. We might have talked a little bit about high level languages, interpreters. Um, yeah, I don't think we actually were covering language history yesterday. That would have been probably 2 days ago. So let's just scan through, make sure I got everything. Again, nowadays I'm going for more just high level recalls because we got a lot of material to work through in this class and not all the time in the world. Right. Okay. Python was created von Rossum, late 80s, 90s, early 90s. Open source, scripting language, open source. Readability is a big core value of Python. What the? That was 2.5. Okay. Interactive interpreter. Right. An interactive interpreter is like a line by line. You enter a line and that program runs right then and there, each line that you type in. All right. Three most basic instructions are input, output, input, process, output. Right, okay. Computational thinking versus mathematical thinking. It's all a lot about sequential problem solving. Algorithm is basically a set of steps or procedures in order to solve a problem. And program is very similar. It's a sequential set of steps or instructions analogous to cooking a recipe. A cooking recipe. Programs use variables to refer to data. So, all right, that's enough for recalling for now. What I'm going to do is jump back into reading the textbook. We're getting near the end, potentially, of chapter 2. We've got to read chapter 2 and 3, or lessons 2 and 3 by when? By Sunday. I don't know if it's probably Sunday evening, and it's Friday right now, so yeah, let's get back in the textbook. All right, let's quickly run through what I learned today. We finished up programming in Python section. We started the IDE, Integrated Development Environment section. As far as programming in Python, we learned to use a hashtag for comments. I learned that assignment is basically assigning a value to a variable. It's also potentially the way you create variables in Python. Surely you can create variables without assigning a value there right away. Maybe not. Probably not, though. Or probably you can. Assignment variables. Some code editors will have syntax highlighting to help you humans read the code more easily. Most Python is not written in an interactive interpreter. It's written in a file, and then that file is given to the interpreter. IDEs are interactive development environments, integrated development environments. Integrated because they typically are one-stop shops for everything you need to create, run, test, debug programs. An example is PyCharm. Another is an idle. I think we're going to use this thing called Thonny, which may be used particularly for like students in school. I have PyCharm. I used PyCharm a couple months ago. I didn't really even know what I was doing, but I use ChatGPT to help vibe code some stuff. All right. IDE, what else does it have? So typically it has the text editor, or it's got to have the text editor, and it's got to have the interpreter. Everything else it can have, but it typically does, including consoles, a console, multiple files, syntax highlighting, automatic delimiter, automatic delimiter. This is where when you type like a open thing, it automatically adds a close thing. So for quotation marks, if you add an open quotation mark, it's gonna add a second. Parentheses, brackets are other examples. Automatic delimiter completion. We're gonna learn about more features, but the timer went off when I was reading more features of the IDE. What am I forgetting about programming Python? Interpreter in general is just something that executes code, I believe. Yeah, program that executes code. Prompt, this is basically something, this is different than large language model prompts and AI prompts. A prompt is basically signaling to the programmer that it's ready to receive information. Or accept commands. Right, expression is a line of code or a amount of code. I think it's a line of code that produces a value. That's an expression. I think a command, we learn about command. Statement is a program instruction. Piece of code that produces a value when interpreted, that's expression. All right. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you guys later today. See ya. Welcome back to CS. I'm back, and better than ever. We were just starting to get into IDEs, what they can do, what they have. Basically, one-stop shop for programming, running, testing, writing, debugging, everything you need to program and test. Yeah, we're learning about some features that they typically have. We learned about expression and statement. Statement is a line of instruction or program instruction. Yep. All right. So from here, we're going to just jump back into the textbook, keep moving forward, keep making progress, and I'll be back in a little bit to recall. All right. We just finished the section on IDEs. Some other features the IDEs have are shortcuts, as well as multiple files. So you can have multiple programs and files within an IDE. We talked about consoles and command line interface, CLI. Command line interface is within the console. The console is a text-based interface where you can put an input, the program can output data, you can run programs. Command line interface is really the command line within the console, which you can call programs with command line arguments, which are basically additions after that you call the program that are like modifications or extra details when running the program. We talked about next in the section is white space and precision. They're emphasizing that the value of attention to detail within programming and how small details can make or break programs. I was like, yeah, I've always valued my level of attention to detail, but I've also recently kind of dropped some of it because of how slow it can be, and knowing when to be like super focused on detail and when to like good is enough, and actually to move forward to make more progress. So I don't know, it's some kind of balance that I'm ever trying to work on. But so white space, this is like referring to the output of a program. It's like new lines and spacing, like tabs or like, you know, multiple spaces, how the output is structured spacing wise. Yeah. manager. Another name for console is the terminal. Command line argument is like a value. Entered by user after the program name to run the program when running a program for CLI, command line interface. So it's a value you can add after the program name to modify how the program will be run. So that's gonna do it. That's gonna wrap it up for maybe today. I might have more time to continue, because it's Friday now. We are actually 92 or 93% of the way done, it says, with chapter 1. We're about to get into the first challenge within the textbook. But yeah, I got stuff due on Sunday and it's Friday, so I might have to come back later today. Let's see what it says. Due Sunday. Yeah, it's gonna be Sunday night, so I've got about 2 more hours I can work on this stuff. Can I see what comes next, please? I don't know why this stuff won't show me. Oh, here we go. So lecture 2 materials. Oh. Oh. All right, hold up. Let me check this out. Yeah, lecture 2 materials, I'm 92% of the way done. And then we have these many small many small projects that are within each chapter. I don't know if we do that in lab. It says lab on here, but I don't know if that's... I don't think we do that in lab. I think we do that outside of lab, but we're gonna find out. So due Saturday, tomorrow, I've got that done. Then we got stuff due on Sunday. The lecture 2 stuff, which I'm 92% of the way done with the participation, and then I got a challenge activity. So I should be able to finish that tomorrow with an hour. I think I should be able to finish that, which will set me up to be done with stuff for that. And then the next stuff will be due September 2nd, lecture 3. That'll be due Tuesday. Lecture 3 appears to be significantly shorter. And then Thursdays, when week 1, many small projects are due. Sunday will be lecture 4. Lecture 4 looks big. Large. Wow. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll come back later today if I have time. If not, that's all right. We'll continue working. Probably don't even need to come back to it later today. We'll call that good for today. What I want to do now, from now until Sunday evening, that will give me 2 more hours essentially of working. I want to finish lecture 2, participation and challenges, which I think we could do in about 30 minutes probably, maybe 45. Then from there, I want to read all the extra Canvas stuff that I haven't read. I would say I probably can read the rest of it. The announcements I haven't caught up on, and the modules probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So yeah, by Sunday I should be done with all the Canvas updates, readings, up to date on that, as well as up to date on my assignments, including the textbook. And then from Sunday onward, I'll start working on lecture 3 as soon as I can. So that's it for today. Most likely, yeah, I'll call it good for today. Talk to you later. See ya.